welcome back to my channel. I'm Miranda, and today I want to share with you some of my favorite cozy mysteries. There's something about spring, something about March that makes me feel like I need to read cozy mysteries. And if you're like me, then maybe you've read some of these or maybe you haven't. Let me know in the comments, what are your favorite cozy mysteries? If you're not familiar with cozy mysteries, typically you have a person, usually a female, and they're either returning home to their small town where they grew up, and after trying it out in the big city and maybe failing. They might have had a career that failed or a relationship, and now they're coming back home to get settled. Usually their parents have a business or a something. And then they get caught up in some kind of murder and they start investigating. So cozy mysteries don't typically have like a ton of high stakes, but they feel like they do. So a friend might be accused of murder, or maybe the main character is accused of murder and they have to clear their name. So it's just a lot of fun. Usually there might be some romance, but I never care for the romance in most of my cozy mysteries. Anyway, here are some of my favorites. So the first one that I'll talk about is Arsenic and Adobo by Mia P. Manansala. And she's a Filipino author and writes about Mila. And she's coming home, and her family owns a Filipino restaurant. And what I love about this story is they'll have authentic recipes throughout this story. And you'll see that it's pretty common if you have a cozy mystery surrounding food, you usually get the recipes, and that's kind of fun. So what happens is the food critic comes to her family's restaurant, and that food critic just so happens to be her ex-boyfriend. And he eats the soup. He's talking all kinds of terrible stuff to her and her family, and then he dies. Oopsie. I love the family dynamics here and how her aunts are always in someone's business. They're trying to set you up. They're trying to make you happy. They're trying to they're just nosy. And that's how they show they care. And she kind of learns that she didn't have to run away to make herself special. Like her family already thought she was special. The next one is 2 Part Sugar, 1 Part Murder by Valerie Burns. And this one, the main character, Maddie, is a social media whiz. She has tons of followers on her account. She records everything. She's a big influencer, and she is going places. And she's about to marry a surgeon when he cuts off the relationship all of a sudden, and she's kind of left with nothing. In her whole life, she's like worked to become a trophy wife and have all the fine things that come with it. And so after that, her aunt dies and leaves her house and her business, which is a bakery. And she has to keep the bakery open for a year, and she gets to inherit. And what I love about this is she does not know how to bake, but she does know people, and she knows marketing, and she's so smart and witty, and people just like her, and she figures things out. And I love that grittiness of her. That's not gritty at all. She's very prim and proper and fancy. The next one, A Spell for Trouble by Esme Addison. This is about Alexandra Daniels, and she is actually estranged from her family. Her mother died when she was young, and therefore her dad just kept her away from this family that she got to spend some time with as a small child. And then she reconnects with them as she's older and finds out that she actually has a magical history, and the town has a deep history of magic. Um, and as she's learning, somebody is using this magic in a way that's not proper, and she works to find out who this person is. I love the quietness of this, of her just learning more about herself. We get to kind of go through her life and learn with her. It kind of makes me, I'm still hoping that one day my powers will come into play, and that's kind of gives me that same vibe. Like, you know, she didn't know she was something other than what she was. She thought she was regular, and I like that. It kind of gives me hope that maybe I'm not regular either. The next cozy mystery I want to talk about is A Sprinkle of Murder by Daryl Gerber. And this is a fairy garden mystery. And with this story, I love these. I've read, there's like 5 of them so far, and I think they're just so much fun. So our main character is Courtney, and Courtney comes home after, for some reasons, right? Um, and she goes back to her small town. I believe it's called Carmel. Yes, it's in Carmel, California. And she decides that she is done trying to live life in a certain way. She's going to do things that bring her joy. And so she opens a fairy pottery slash tea shop. And it's called at Open Your Imagination. And okay, so I love those pots where you have like the little gnomes and the fairies and all the moss and the rocks. That's kind of what she does. And she starts these workshops where people from the town can come in and build their own little fairy homes. She also coordinates with her dad. Her dad is like a pretty awesome landscaper. He doesn't really want her doing this, but you know, what is he going to do? And because she chose to follow her dreams, she starts seeing a fairy. And she remembers when she was little, she used to have a fairy. And so the idea is that by living your truth, being happy, you are that much closer to that child self of you, and you're opening your heart to the possibility of magic and more. And so now she has a fairy, and her fairy is very special. Um, and so when the inevitable murder happens, Courtney has to go and find out who is the true murderer. I believe she might be um, suspected as the murderer in this story, and she's trying to clear her name. And her fairy gets to help her. And she doesn't know, but she can feel other people's energy, and she can follow them unseen because most people can't see fairies. And then she reports back to Courtney to help her with her cases. So I think they're so much fun. And each book has its own vibe that I really appreciate. And as she's living her dreams, she kind of sparks this interest in other people to also start living theirs. And pretty soon more people start getting their fairies. And I love that idea of joy sparks joy, right? The next one is Shady Hollow. And this one is cool. A lot of people have talked about that. I've seen this on YouTube quite a bit. What is cool about this is it's a town full of animals, and we have our Vera Vixen is the reporter, and she's actually the one who ends up trying to solve the murder. Um, and just the idea of animals having their own life, having their own system and structure is pretty fascinating. So I think it's a lot of fun if you like cozy mysteries and you like something that's not just regular people. You might really enjoy something like this. And then this one, I actually don't see a lot of people talk about this. It's called Under Lock and Skeleton Key by Gigi Pandian. And I apologize if I said that wrong. But this one is her father has a construction company where he builds secret bookcases, hidden coves, just like all kinds of mysterious places within a home. And in this first one, they actually find a dead body in the walls in the hidden staircase. And that's where the mystery is. But each one is very well crafted. I I love this one. They get a little bit more high stakes, more intriguing. They're not just like glossing over certain events, which I think is pretty cool. The next one is A Half-Baked Murder by Emily George. And this is Chloe Barnes. And she decides or is persuaded to open up a bakery, like a special bakery, with cannabis. And I think just that whole concept is pretty unique. And so it was a lot of fun to just watch her read about her process of making delicious edibles that didn't have like a lot of aftertaste or whatever. So this one, it was a lot of fun. I really enjoyed it. And it's very pretty. I love the pinks. Okay, so I didn't want to have holiday ones, even though I really love reading the holiday ones. But this one was really, really good. I thoroughly enjoyed it. It's called The Most Wonderful Crime of the Year by Allie Carter. And so she is a writer. She writes avidly, like she's just spitting out books. And her competition is she writes romance and he writes like action-packed novels, and they're always competing. And he is just like always messing with her, and she hates him. She thoroughly hates him, but he's just teasing her, and it almost seems mean. But as you read it, you realize like he is thinking he's flirting with her. He doesn't really realize that she's not in on the joke, and she just really hates his guts. Well, they both end up being invited to her favorite author's home, and it's a locked room mystery where the two writers are there, another writer is there, and some of the author's family members are in this home. And the next day, the main author is missing. And so our main character, is trying to figure out where the heck did her favorite author go. And she is trying to find out who is actually trying to hurt the author, and hoping that she's not too late and that the author isn't already dead. So I really loved how this one just, it was fun. I laughed and I cried, and I don't always do that with the cozy mysteries. Mostly I just get to kind of like have a good time and follow along. But I think this had a little bit of everything. Okay, so I have one book that I bought for Christmas during the Barnes and Noble sale, and it's called A Trinket for the Taking by Victoria Laurie. And this is what it says. Dovry Van Dalen has a gorgeous day planned for her 200th birthday, driving her new Porsche, admiring the cherry blossoms abloom in her adopted city of Washington, D.C., and a little pampering. But her boss has other ideas. A powerful artifact has been stolen, and he fears it's causing chaos in the unmagical world. The rich and connected family has suffered a string of suspicious deaths, with no sign of foul play, yet each member has died in the way they feared most. As the enchanting agent most skilled at blending in with mere mortals, Dovey must find answers and retrieve the dangerous trinket. There's just one unexpected wrinkle. By the time Dovey arrives at the art gallery where the patriarch died, FBI agent Grant Gibbs Barlow has taken control of the scene. Debbie needs his cooperation to investigate, but she'll have to hide her abilities and her true objective from a man who uncovers deception every day. And as they inch near a deadly truth, both will face danger. Even the spellbound would be lucky to survive. So I'm really excited to put this in at the top of my reading goals. And then I have a few cozy mysteries from my Kindle. Some I've read, well, one I've read, and three I want to read. So the first one is A Mythical Case of Arson by Melissa Erin Jackson. And this one has a paranormal element and a bookstore setting. How could I resist? And also, look at the cover. She's got a freaking like dragon with her, so I have to read it. The next one's called Murder in Gemini by Michelle Corbier. I apologize if I didn't say it right. This is a medical mystery with astrology themes. And then there's Forecast Foul Play by Ashleigh Quinn. And this is about, it's weather themed. And uh, I did start it, and it's very dark in the beginning. So I'm excited to kind of jump in and see what happens. And then the final one I have read and I loved it. It's called Black Witch Magic by Mila Nix. And this is a paranormal mystery with a little bit of romance. And they are going around and filming haunted houses and having like a reality show. And it's so much fun. And I love how she's trapped in this town by a curse. And it was a lot of fun. I suggest everybody read it. And that is all for my Cozy Mysteries recommendations. Let me know in the comments, do you like Cozy Mysteries? Do you have any recommendations for me? If you don't like Cozy Mysteries or you have never read Cozy Mysteries, do any of these sound interesting? Let me know which ones you might pick up. That is all for today. Like, share, subscribe, all of that, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.